Okay, we are now live, and the stream is now started. We're gonna start with Bitcoin, and we're just gonna start with the monthly. No, I don't need that. We're just start with the monthly. Just marked out the monthly levels that I am currently interested in. I'm pretty sure everybody knows what that is as of right now. Uh, Within this range, these are the monthly levels that I'm currently looking for, marked in purple. Now we're gonna move it to the weekly. Um, Basically setting up my chart as I have always been setting it up for these videos. It's almost pretty redundant at this point, but it's okay. It's totally okay because the levels are not the same, and it's only different until we get a weekly or candle close or a monthly candle close below important and significant swings. And actually, I was talking about this swing right here at 104.5K, and we also have here at 102.5K. We closed below these levels given that we have been testing them and trying to hold it for the past 5 weeks, just testing these levels, and they were holding it until we finally got the breakdown, which came back and tested this swing here, which is the move that took you up. So as of right now, looking at the weekly right now, your key level of weekly resistance is this level right here from 104.5 to 102.5, right? Because you closed above it, you've been testing it, and now you got a strong, solid weekly close below it. And the main idea as of right now is because we didn't come down to test this monthly at 96K, but we tested that weekly from the prior week, which just closed right now. So with the fresh new weekly candle now with a failure right below this level right here, we are now looking at a possible rejection from this area right here, which could possibly take us down to this monthly level here at 96.4. That is the main idea. I don't think we are going to go shoot up for all-time highs yet. I would only be interested in all-time highs on Bitcoin if we do close it back above these important swings right here. Until then, I am not looking for up. Is that clear? I'm not looking for up until we get weekly closes above, ideally 104.5. The higher the close, definitely the better, right? So because if you're marking out these trends and point them out right here, you have one trend here, you have another trend here. It's actually this trend right here comes all the way to this level here, and you have another trend here. So this is why this is very important to hold 96 and 98. And if you don't hold 96 and 98, then what are you looking for next on your weekly support, right? So there is a weekly level here. I haven't been marking this out, right? The reason why I am not interested in bidding the bottom range at 96,000 and why I think it is very likely that we do push to, let's say, 86,000, given that there is a lot of, for instance, air from this level to this level here, is because if you look right here on the weekly time frame, this is how you're able to catch the bigger moves, right? You look at the weekly, you look at the monthly time frame. If you see right here, they already closed above it, right? And they gave a test of that level from that swing right here at 93.7K. So if price was going to dump, you're not expecting this level here to hold because they've already tested it. The liquidity is already gone. And when you're looking for trend to reverse, you're looking at monthly or weekly levels, right? But why would you go look for trend to reverse from a tested level? It's very, very, very unlikely. The only likely play for it is, let's say you do close below that, you come to 93, 96, you are expecting to make a new low below here. But let's say if you close below it, and then if you close back above it, then this level is in play. But it is not in play as of right now. It's only in play if you close below it and close back above it. It's not a level to bid. So I just want to keep that clear. So that's why I'm removing it. But you could always just keep in mind that if we close below it and close back above it on the weekly time frame, then it is in play, right? Similarly to what it's doing right now with price, right? You close above this swing right here. You close above this swing right here, right? You were holding it, you were holding it, you were holding it. What happened? You close below it, right? So if you close below it, then you're expecting it to act as resistance. But if you close back above it, right? Let's say this weekly candle closes back above it, and then you come back and test it, then you can make all-time highs, right? And you already know the story right here, right? It is very likely if you do close above it, above this level at 104.5K, for instance, and you come back and retest it, you are going to get all-time highs because they've already tested it. They tested these levels here at what level is this? At 109,000. They tested it 2 times. They dumped it off of the second test. So I would expect all-time highs if you get a weekly close back above this level. So you really do not want to rush into anything right now because we're not at anything. We've already played what we could play here on the weekly, right? And it gave that bounce. So if you want trend to possibly reverse here, right, doesn't have to come to 96. This could be your low, and then you would probably want to look for a higher low relative to that low right there. And then if you want to maybe get the trend reversal, want to close back above here. But as of right now, the main idea here at 104.5K, for instance, is for price to reject. And reject come here, and reject to come to this price point right here. Just from playing the weekly time frame. You don't need the daily or the 4-hour to get good size moves, right? You're playing with something on the higher time frame, and when there's higher time frame probability going on, you're gonna get the more likely chance of your level working out and playing. And as it does, that's why I only use the weekly. That's why you're able to be more accurate. You lose your accuracy when you go down on the time frames. Given that looking at my time frames that I put on my chart, I don't go really anything lower than the 4-hour typically, right? And that's when it starts to get more confusing on my end too, because you get distracted. So that's the play as of right now. For the weekly on Bitcoin, I'm going to clean up these orange lines a bit, and we could push it right now to the daily, because if you're in the middle of nowhere right now, within the weekly time frame, right, it's generally it's like a no trade zone. You're not looking to take any trades here right now. I don't have any lines. I only play my lines. I don't play something in impulsivity to say, oh, I'm gonna buy here to short here. No, you wait until something comes first, which is one of those levels if you're just looking at the weekly. Okay, so now let's go to the daily. And this is how you can start to break it down a little bit more to see, okay, maybe if I do want to play something in this dead zone, then you can have a higher chance of maybe catching that move. And I'll mark out what you have to look for in regards to that. So we have this level here at 101.4K. And we were talking about this level prior to where it did bounce from, and what happened afterwards is when you did get the bounce and then you got the daily close, what did it do? It came to this level here at 103,000, rejected, and then you got the big move down, right? And as you see, as of right now, it is currently testing this level here at 101.4K, right? They've already tested it. There's no reason to short it already because you missed it, right? You missed it. If you missed it, you missed it. I didn't short it, so I missed it. I'm not really looking to play it because now you're hoping that if you are short from there, you're probably expecting something for price to come back to around here, probably around this level. But you have to look more left in regards to say, where is that other daily level where I could possibly be interested in if price was going to be willing to bounce from. And if I'm looking here on the daily, you do have a daily level here, right? And you have a daily level here, right? So you have some for me honestly, I wouldn't really care to play these levels. It's really not my interest, but you do have support here. So if price was going to come back down here, for instance, if you really like to play these lower time frame levels, this would be your level of interest of possibly longing, right? But going back to that those daily levels, I didn't mean to go to the 4 hour. Going back to those daily levels, right? The principle still applies to what I was just talking about right now about the weekly, right? Let's say if you do come down here, you close below these daily levels, right? And then you come back above and you close back above on the daily. This is way more likely to hold, right? It's good to take profit here if you're short, right? Of course. But if you do close below, let's just say you close below and then you close back above, then your long is more validated. And you can see the confluence of price rejecting from these levels because they played these levels before, right? They played these levels before. So that's how you sort of want to play it on the daily. But I'm going to remove these lines because, to be honest, if you want to improve your accuracy, just get off you don't really need the daily at most times. You do need the daily, for instance, if you missed the short from up here, you could have got those shorts from here, right? You could have got shorts from here. Could have got a short from here. Actually, these motherfuckers, I wanted to short 104K, and I had limit sales, and it didn't exactly get there. I buy $20. I think I put that in the Discord. I was like, these fuckers front ran me. It happens, but this is what we can do now. If you want to look for that upside, for instance, and let's say if the weekly doesn't reject, I'm actually very cautious right now because there is actually a probability here on Bitcoin. Let's say if these weekly levels here at 104.5K don't seem to reject, right? There is a very high probability chance that we could all honestly push all the way back to 111 or even new all-time highs. I know I have daily resistance here. This weekly level was already tested, and I have daily resistance right over here, right? So I am honestly expecting, if we do start to pump for whatever reason, and these weekly levels do not reject, I am expecting a really strong pump to around 110K, about this region. So I'm really, to be honest, I'm really only interested in shorting at 104.5K, and your stop loss would be right here at 106.6 if you're going to be shorting that weekly level. Because if you're playing trend, which I talk about day in and day out, and it's the most basic thing ever, trend. We all know what trend is, right? I hope you guys do. But trend is how you get your invalidations. If you don't get your invalidations through just marking a random level, you get your invalidations through trend, higher lows and higher highs. And you can see that, for instance, within like this area here. You could have just been playing the trend here, trailing your stop, trailing your stop, trailing your stop, and got your long. Trailing your stop, trailing your stop, trailing your stop, get your long. So it's the same idea with here, right? You could just trail your stop, but we're expecting that if it does reject here, we want to see a lower high relative to there, right? It could come a little bit higher, but your stop is here, and then expectation would be lower, right? So right now, there's really no reason to rush into anything on Bitcoin. What has happened on the last daily candle has already happened. The move has already happened. So you don't really need to do anything right now until maybe you get a daily close back above 101.4, right? And if you do get the daily close back above 101.4, you could probably catch a 2-3% move into that weekly. That's what I would be interested in. If you reject here, right here, You have those daily levels, which I was talking about. But ideally, I would just wait for something here. More probable. Way more probable. Right? That was clear on Bitcoin. I think that's pretty much all I have for Bitcoin as of right now. Yeah, let's just look at the bottom range again. Just so you have a better idea of what is happening. So if you do not hold 98K, 96K, we are getting those steep drops to 86,000, for instance. So I'm going to mark out the trends here. I know Louis Key is here. He's seen me do this how many times at least? Way too many times, right? So, and I do it because it's all you need to do. Not because I need to do it. It's because it's all you need to do. It's all you need to do in order to understand what the hell price is doing. Right? Yeah, he's laughing. So here are your trends, right? So you had that low, right? So that's the swing. I marked the body open candle closes, right? Because the body open candle closes, if you guys didn't know why I marked those levels than any other low or high for a level to bid, is because that's where the liquidity is. And the liquidity is there for only one reason when you look at the autonomy of the candle, right? Let's say I'm going to draw a candle. This is your candle. The liquidity is here. The most volume within a candle comes from either the opens or the closes, whether it be a bearish or bullish candle, right? So if the most volume is coming there, that's where you expect levels to act as support and resistance. And you can see this time and time again throughout the charts of price rejecting levels of those body candle closes, for instance here, right? You get those reactions that you are looking for, right? Given here, right? You get those reactions you are looking for, given here, right? So that's how you understand where price is bouncing. So going back to it. So you have weekly support at 86. You have 80,000. And you have 78,000. I don't know which one it's going to bounce from if we go to down there, but I do know that I am going to expect a reaction. I do expect to take profit at these levels. If you do have your plan set, and there is that idea of maybe what if it goes from here to here, that's the idea that you are looking for. So I would watch out below 96.5 for whatever. I am expecting 86,000. And below this, that's another story. When it gets there, I know where to look for, to be honest. And you can do it on your own, but I'm not going to go over it now. I think I've gone it over in my other videos. So that's it for Bitcoin. Let's jump into Ethereum. Actually, let's go to the ETH BTC chart. What did I talk about last stream on ETH BTC was I actually drew this arrow last stream when I was talking about it. So going to the monthly. Why the monthly? We have a question. El Sideth says, what would be the catalyst to be for such a move on BTC? Well, in regards to news, are you talking about? Because, news is bullshit. Don't look at the news. Don't think things are happening because of the moves. Because by the time the news already happens, what are you going to do? The reactions are already there. And what does that do? It makes bias for yourself, right? You think people on Wall Street, they see, breaking news, and they're making their decision of going hundreds of millions or short or billions of short on positions? They don't. They already have their systems in place. So my system is just using trend and using the chart to get the best gauge of my analysis, right? So when you try to create a bias for yourself, that's a better word. try to create a bias for yourself. Oh, because this is dumping because of this. Oh, they're launching this new dev project. It's going to be so bullish. This and that and this and that. What are you doing? You're creating a bias for yourself, right? And this bias is not going to help your trading. It's all meaningless because what news could mean for one person can make it mean something for another person. That news could be bullish, can interpret it as something bullish, and someone can interpret it as something bearish, right? That's why it doesn't mean anything. And I don't think there's such thing as any catalyst. Yes, there is a catalyst that they say, oh, because of this, because of that. But all people did at the end of the day is they pressed sold on the asset they were selling, or they pressed buy. That was the catalyst. I'm not trying to act like a dick or anything, but that's really that's all that's happening. And then there is the things like, oh, this will happen because of this. No, it's just people are pressing buy and sell. And they have their own strategy at the end of the day. And maybe they are using the new strategy as a gauge to sort of make themselves feel better, for instance, or whatever, or to make their decisions. I hope that answered your question. That's how I look at it, at least. I'm not saying I know everything. I don't know anything. It makes sense, Yeah, the levels are there. The levels are there before it happened. That's why I was saying weeks before that I already painted the story for Bitcoin of let's just go back to it, right? Whatever was happening with Iran or war or whatever the hell is going on, or Israel, right? We knew. Here, let me just go to a clean chart. Remove it. We knew that these lows were not going to hold because they've tested this so many times. So when we were expecting the dump, we knew that price was going to come to this level here because it was untested. So we're not using news or say any type of catalyst stuff like this. We know what is happening. We have our system in place. So yeah. Hi, XBear. Okay. FBTC. Okay. I'm thinking. This is what I'm thinking. Okay. Going to the monthly. So, should I clean this up again? We'll clean it up. Fresh start. Fresh chart. So, FBTC, what did it do? Oops. That's not what I wanted. Where did my arrow go? So, we hit the monthly. And going to repeat myself because all I do is repeat myself. Monthly levels, weekly levels, trend reversals, right? So we tested it, gave a bounce. Then after we gave the bounce, where did we close above? We closed above the swing here at 0.021 sats, right? Let's mark the trends here, right? This is the low, right? And you came down, and that was the higher low. And then what did you do from here? You made a new high, right? So this is actually a phenomenal spot here for Ethereum, Bitcoin to bounce, ETHBTC to bounce from, right? Because this is the start of that trend, which basically took you from here to the highs, right? So we are testing this trend here. Did Ethereum bottom? Could definitely be, but we're gonna push it to the daily here, because you gotta also understand what is happening more or less locally in regards to the price action. Because if we can mark our trends within was it on the weekly? No, it was on the. Oh yeah, you can mark it here within the weekly, right? Oops. You came up, right? And then you came all the way down, right? So there is that confluence with that monthly level, right, to that low. So going back to the daily, you could see the trends within here. So everything is head and shoulders, for instance, right? So this could be that head and shoulder that you are looking for here on FBTC. And I do want to see the monthly on FBTC to stay above 0.021 sats. And if it does stay above 0.021 sats, I am looking for continuation higher. And where am I looking for? Well, let's push it to the monthly, because we want to see, is this level, is a FBC PTC going to be more worth it to long moving forward than Bitcoin, for instance? And we're going to find out what is tested, what is not tested. That's untested. And then I just know for a fact here, if FBT starts to pump, I am not interested in bidding or selling anything up here. So, your trend here is what took you up to that high. So I would want to say if you get monthly closes above 0.031, you are looking for price to come all the way at least to these levels here. And it's a pretty strong move on ETH that we would see. So I would have your eyes on Ethereum now, though it has been eating shit for the past 1,308 days. Things don't go down forever, right? Not typically, but Ethereum is pretty high liquid asset in the crypto space. I don't think it's going away anytime soon. So if it does bounce, I do want to see at least 0.031, and that would be at least 45% on the FBTC chart. So Ethereum is actually at a good spot. It doesn't mean Ethereum is going to go down more. It doesn't mean it's going to go up more. What if FBTC just move at the same pace, right? In that FBTC chart, for instance, if Ethereum and Bitcoin are dumping and pumping at the same price, it could go sideways, right? But if it does go sideways, that means it's a good time to accumulate as much Ethereum as you possibly could if it's holding above that 0.21 sat level, right? So now let's go to Ethereum, because you buy off of the price of Ethereum. You're not buying always off of the sats, right? So let's start with a monthly. Okay, what took you up, right? What took you down, right? What is the most important level on Ethereum? 3,200. Let me delete these two levels. 3,200 is the most important level on Ethereum. If you do get above this level, it is very likely we're going to push to 4,600 on Ethereum. As of right now, we have 7-8 days approximately within the monthly. Just going to be marking my monthly support here in purple. My mistake. It all should have been purple because my monthly levels are purple. Okay. This is your monthly start of that trend at 1,700. You did close above this level here at 2,500, but you rejected something on the weekly, I'm pretty sure, which is why it's giving that rejection as of right now. It is currently testing. It's currently testing the bottom range right here, right? Why is it testing that? Well, this is the move that took you up, right? And then again, I like to bid levels, like I said, of the open closes. So I more or less consider this not random, but it could hold as support. But there's always something that I am more interested in to hold as support, or to just get something with a better confirmation of support and resistance. So I'm going to mark our untested weekly levels. It was holding above this 2297 level. It closed below it, and you're honestly expecting more or less the same thing with Bitcoin. That same idea where it's going to push to that weekly level that I was talking about, and then you have weekly resistance here as well too. So you have levels here that could act as resistance, but if you do close it back above 2,297 or 2,456 on the weekly, we are going to get that nice push. Let's say from here, let's just say like from here to around here, and it could definitely happen. Given that we just went over that FBTC chart, we would like to see a nice 40% move, or even something even way better than that. That would be the almost 100% move from where if price were to close above for whatever reason, because this is the move that took you to that low. You always want to ask yourself what took you up, what took you down, right? So if you ask yourself what took you up, what took you down, then you have a better understanding of where price is heading. Could Ethereum go lower? Well, yeah, we marked our monthly levels. We have important weekly levels. I like this 2005 level, and I like this 1886 level as well too. So there is a good amount of confluence of monthly and weekly support here on Ethereum. As of right now, it is tested that bottom range here. We'll just mark it just because. And I'll mark this. I'll just mark this red, right? So let's look at something locally on the daily. What does price need to get above? So we closed it below here on the daily, currently rejecting. So what you really need to see for Ethereum on the daily is you want to see price close above 2241. If you close above 2241, you can get those pushes. I just want you guys to keep in mind, like, people using the 4 hour, the 1 hour, the 15-minute, right? They're using these 15-minute levels to get the scalp they need in the day, right? The most bullshit ever. But you marking the daily and weekly levels, you could play those scalps that you want to play getting 2% in a day, for instance. Is that clear? You don't need to mark a 1 minute level or a 1 hour level to get those 2% moves. You mark the weekly and the daily and the monthly to get those ranges that you're looking for. Those intraday scalps. That's one of the biggest misconceptions of I think chart analysis in general. Having to use a smaller time frame level to get 1%, 2% moves. Nope, you can do it all from the weekly. You can do it all from the monthly. And you're going to have a lot more accuracy. So Ethereum is good. I ideally wanted price to come down here. I'm not going to rush. I'm not going to rush into anything. You're essentially only using lower time frame. No, you don't need to use lower time frames for entry. You don't. You use higher time frame for entry. Because the higher time frame has the higher probability of giving you that pinpoint entry. It always does. Let's go to a clean chart. It's not a clean chart. Right? Should we use the monthly or you want to use the weekly? You know what's actually, let's go to Bitcoin. I'll show you on Bitcoin. We can go back in time. This does not have enough chart history. This is just from the monthly. If you want perfect entries, you will typically get it from the weekly or the monthly. If you're around in 2019 and you've wanted to short Bitcoin, for instance, you could have shorted that 13.7K level. You don't need lower time frame to pinpoint the exact. Right? You really do not. Here, closed. That one's not clean. Let's see. There's always something here where you could always see to get the exact level you're looking for to catch big moves. Right? Even here on Bitcoin. This is like the most ultimate monthly level on Bitcoin history, I think. You're just marking the monthly. Perfect rejection. Big move down. Right? Closed above it. Closed below it. Perfect rejection. All the way down. This one, 13.7. Well, you're shorting the monthly, right? And you want to push it to something on the daily, for instance, right? If I was shorting here, for instance, you would have to look on the smaller, honestly. The daily. So you have this as the monthly level. And you want to look on the daily. Where's that high or low relative to that level here? So your stop would have been there. You can use that. You sell or buy the monthly, and then you look to see what was the trend on the daily or the weekly. Then you can identify it right away. And then look, you rejected that monthly. Then what did you do on the daily? Perfect. You're marking the daily. You're getting the pinpoint entry. You don't need the lower time frame. I'm just looking at the daily time frame to get that pinpoint entry. And then what do you have? You're playing trend, high, lower, high. That would be your stop loss. It's really that simple. That's why whenever I see someone not using a daily time frame, I'm like, not saying they don't know how to trade, but it's just they're missing the simplicity of how they could be a better trader. You know? Then again, you're missing the easy stuff that it gives you. This is just from the daily. It gives it to you all the time. Right? So if we're going back to, like, let's say on Bitcoin, on the chart I just made, it pretty much all comes from the daily, right? Comes from the daily. Just playing the trend. So going back to Ethereum, it's playing the daily here. So if we are going to trend lower, this is the spot to do it, for instance. I would like to do. So just going back to the weekly, you could reject here, it could reject here, and then probably push down. But I would like to see how it would look. It's still very early in the week. I think there's just going to be a lot of consolidation and development here. But then again, ETH BTC looks really good for it to hold. So that's pretty much for ETH. I'm interested in here, to be honest. I want this. I don't know if I'll get it. If I don't get it, we'll just wait for the reclaim, and then we'll get the push. Yeah. Solana. Okay, clean chart. Monthly. It's all rinse and repeat, guys. It's all rinse and repeat. Monthly, I think it could go a little bit lower. If it does go a little bit lower, that 124 level looks really good. Tested, untested, untested. You have all this all untested. You have a lot of monthly resistance here. If you do decide to hold here, just looking at the monthly time frame, you'll hold here. You are looking for this here, around there. As of right now, on the weekly for Solana, the weekly close was not that pretty because they closed below this swing right here on the weekly, and it's currently back testing it. And then if it does reject here, then we could get that push down to that monthly level. If you don't hold that monthly level, you have a weekly level here at 105, and then you also have weekly support here at 112. Monthly takes more time to play out, of course, but with 6 days in the month, you do not really want to see 124 to be closed below on the monthly time frame. If it does, then you're pushing down to these levels here. These PTL 112 and 105. So that weekly close wasn't really good. You really do want to see the weekly close it back above 143. If it does close back above 143, you're honestly looking back here for price to get to 175. I think that's all you really need. I don't want to go lower than the daily for Solana. I think it's pretty clear. Just wait. There's no reason to really get in any position here. Yeah, you could short it if you really want to short that retest on the weekly as it currently is. You're going to just be playing the trend, right? That's going to be your rejection. You want to see a lower high. You see it on the 4 hour. Your stop would be here. Okay, that's Solana. I entered a TIA long, to be honest. There's actually like there's no specific level of any reason of why I long this all the way down here, because it just made new lows. But the reason is because it was a big dump on Bitcoin. TIA has been trending down for 504 days. Let's go to the monthly. They tested a lot of things to bring the price down. And if there is going to be any price rejection, I think price could go all the way to $8.40 if we were going to reverse, for instance, because they've tested everything on the way down. So I like to draw these eclipse tools to say, hey, this is all tested. So I'm not really interested in shorting TIA anymore if it gets to above these levels. Ideally, you want to see the monthly close above $2.27. And as you can see again, how the monthly works. What did you do? You close below it. You don't need that lower time frame level to get the entry. Close below it, gave that perfect retest. Right? This is just from the monthly. The monthly is the bread and butter for your trading. Weekly, same thing pretty much. Test it. Okay, but let's get to the reason why I longed it. I've had an eye on this coin. It's been trending down, and I'm sort of going with my gut here. And I saw something develop on the 1 hour. It's been going down for a long time. Bitcoin dumped. A lot of these coins fucking dumped. I think there could be possible relief here. And I think I saw something develop on the 1 hour. So this is where you're going to break it down. Because I don't have anything to really work from on the weekly time frame for bullishness, for instance. Unless price gets above 227, then you have a higher probability of it bouncing. But I'm not really too attached to this position yet. So the reason why I longed it is because we're going to just mark the trends here. So you had a high, right? And then this high came all the way down to that low. So, and then you got a bounce, and the bounce came, and you really want to see just price be above $1.37 for price to continue higher for whatever reason. Just full disclosure on my end, I longed right here. We're literally at my entry on TIA. Doesn't mean you have to long it. My position isn't very big on it because what if this just continues going lower, as it could? But if price just stays above, I think this coincides with that 4 hour. No, it doesn't. Okay. If price just no hourly closes below $1.37 is good for TIA. If it closes below, you're going to make new lows more likely than not. So I'm already in here. Right now it's like 10 p.m. I don't care if I get stopped out in this position. But like I'm probably just gonna throw my stop loss like probably around here and just go to bed. And if I get stopped out, who cares? I lose like what? I lose like a percent or so. Because my expectation is that, hey, what if this just keeps fucking pumping and I can just swing this probably all the way to $2 from here. I really don't have much to lose in this position. I'm going with my gut. That's just my disclosure here, but just a little bit of technicals just based off of the 1 hour, because that's the only thing I could really work off of, because it's been trending down. Bitcoin puked a bit. It hit a weekly level. Ethereum hit the ETH BTC hit that important monthly level as too. So maybe we do see some relief in some altcoins, to be honest. Maybe we do get like a mini not an alt season, but we get some alt relief. And I think that's what most people are honestly looking for. Is there anything else, or I can, if you guys want me to chart anything, I'll go over something. You can check ENA and why it's a scam. Yeah, we'll check ENA. ENA USD. That's Coinbase. It looks like. Is there a coin with? Is it okay if I chart off of this? I know this isn't like exchange, but it's just a composite index of all of it. Okay. Okay, so Louis Key, you are in good luck. You have some luck here. You're at a monthly level, which is honestly a good sign. You want to see monthly closes above 36 cents. This is the coin, right? And that's what I have for the monthly. It's at support. It's honestly like the same thing as TIA, but you're at monthly support. TIA just fucking died. So okay. Honestly, it's actually very clean. The levels are very clear on ENA. This is nice. So this whole region here is tested. This region here is tested. So tested. Wow. Dude, if this if you get weekly closes above 27 cents, that's good because it's gonna push to that monthly. But then again, these monthly levels here are tested. If you get a monthly close above 36 cents, dude, you're looking at like another 150%. Keep in mind, you do have weekly support here as well too. You do want to see just price reverse. This is just from a higher time frame perspective. Daily, you have this daily swing here, so you have work to do, to be honest. Probably start with just getting the daily above here, and you should be good to go. You could long here. You could get away with a long here if you're really looking for something to bounce here. But if you want something more high probability without having to risk more, it might just consolidate more, so you have more price action to work off of. Because if you're longing here, for instance, your stop loss would be at the low. And expectation is you want to just see price continue to here. It looks good, dude. It doesn't look bad, honestly. You're already in at 223. Where's 223? Oh, your entry is good, dude. Yeah, man. Even if you want to just... I wouldn't put your stop at break even because your entry is good. I would risk a little bit to maybe just throw your stop even below the low just in case you accidentally don't get wicked out We can try to look. Yeah, like that's the trend right there. So you could put your stop below 21, but then again, you have that weekly level. But it's like, it's like when you see shit coins like this and they just keep going down and down and down and down and down. You know, they just go down forever. You have to have an invalidation, whether it be at the current lows, if you want to work something from here. Really don't mind. It looks like it's good to pump, to be honest. It's above that monthly. Let's see. So here was the move. So what would be really good is for INA. So that's your final leg down of that swing. If you do close above it, you get above it here at 24, right? You get above it, right? And you hold it, right? That's actually pretty awesome. And then you can throw your stop at break even, to be honest. Because at that point, if it doesn't hold, then you're probably coming back to your entry. Okay. I think that's it for the stream. I'm gonna upload it to YouTube, so you guys can rewatch it, and then I'll be back for another stream. I'm glad you guys joined, and if you guys want to catch around for anything else, or if you have any questions, you can always ask me or put them in the trading questions or video requests. If you ever want me to go over anything, I'll start pumping out the content for you. Yeah, no problem. Thanks for joining. Guys, have a nice night, okay? Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad you guys came.